Hello everyone, this is VGTI here with, once again, more Undertale. I reviewed this game in my last video, but as we all know if we played the game, there's actually plenty of room for theories, stuff going on behind the scenes that I want to talk about, and you can already tell what it is by the title of the video. And I'm sure half of you guys are thinking like, oh yeah, awesome, he's gonna talk about this, and the other half of you guys are thinking like, rolling your eyes, oh no, he's talking about this theory. But hear me out. I just think that all of the stuff going on with this theory is too interesting to pass up. And whether it was intentional or not, whether Toby Fox meant for it to actually be anything, or if it was removed for a specific reason, it doesn't matter to me either way. It's just so interesting. And the fact of the matter is that there's still some hints to this theory, evidence that remains in the full final game, which I think is there for a reason. And some others do too. But we'll get to that in a bit. Today I'm going to be talking about Dr. W.D. Gaster. Now, this name may or may not sound familiar to you, because depending on how you played the game, Pacifist or Genocide, it kind of determines whether you hear this name or not. If you play the pacifist route, you're probably not going to hear this game unless you're a data miner. But if you play on the genocide route, on the boss fight with Sans, he has a weapon called the Gaster Blaster. And that's kind of the first mention of the name. But once you dig deeper, you find out that there's a lot more to this Gaster than just it being a weapon that Sans uses. Because that's not what's actually going on. The weapon is actually named after a certain character that seems to exist within the Undertale universe, or at least used to exist. People have data mined Undertale to find a lot of hidden info about this Gaster character. There was a lot of stuff that was removed from the final game that involved W.D. Gaster. There were NPCs that talked about him, certain hints towards him and what's going on with him, and even a certain NPC that you can find that some people think is W.D. Gaster himself. But what is he? Who is he? Well, from what all of the evidence about W.D. Gaster suggests, he was formerly the royal scientist before Alphys was for the king, but something happened. Now keep in mind, all of this info comes from the NPCs that were data mined, found by the players who were data mining and talked to these NPCs. They mentioned some brief history about Gaster and what happened to him, saying that he was working on an experiment but fell into the core, and because of this, it's basically caused Gaster to spread his existence across time and space, unwillingly of course. It almost has kind of erased him from existence completely, yet he's still there, everywhere, just throughout time and space. And there are further hints to this because some of the NPCs mention that you shouldn't talk about him when he's listening, and watch out for that creepy thing smiling behind you, things like that. Just stuff that hints that he's there, that he's with you, but you can't see him or hear him. Basically, he doesn't exist, but he's there. He exists, but he doesn't exist. That's kind of the driving point of it. And supposedly he was the royal scientist before Alphys, but after the whole accident happened, Alphys was recruited instead. And basically everybody just forgot about W.D. Gaster. It's possible that this was a side effect of everybody, maybe just losing their memory when this happened, or maybe they just didn't mention it in the game, for removal reasons. But either way, it's very interesting. Now, the most popular theory about W.D. Gaster, and the one that I personally believe, is that he is Sans and Papyrus's brother. Now, of course, this ties back into, was it a side effect? Did they lose their memory of him, or just did they not mention him? But it's possible that he is their brother, and there's multiple reasons for this. For one thing, the sprite that people found when they data mined that supposedly could be W.D. Gaster kind of looks like a skeleton. For another thing, his name seems to be a reference to a certain font, Wingdings. There are multiple hints towards him being connected to this font, and one of them is actually in the game itself. But it's very hard to find. You have to play on the pacifist route, and when you get to the king's room and Sans tells you all that stuff about how much EXP you've gained and how much love you've gained, you have to reload your save at that spot multiple times. Sans will take notice of that, give you a key to his room. You go to his room, find another key, and this key actually leads to a secret area behind their house that you can find in the game, keep in mind. If you go back here, you'll find some kind of machine behind a curtain, some blueprints, and a photograph of you, Sans, and some people that you don't recognize. Possibly Gaster could be included in this photo. Now, the interesting part, and the part that hints towards him being their brother, the whole font thing, kind of similar to how Sans and Papyrus's names and the way they speak are references to fonts, is that when you examine the blueprints for whatever this machine is, the notes, Frisk says that it's written in strange symbols, or maybe it's just the handwriting. And if you guys don't know, the Wingdings font consists of symbols. One other cleverly hidden reference to the font thing is on one of the rides with the river person. Now, the river person says a lot of strange things, but one of the things that she says, or he says, is that beware the man who speaks in hands. Now, this seems really out of place. It's a very mysterious comment, and it could be a reference to the font itself because the Wingdings font actually has hand symbols in the font. So, I mean, there's connections there that he could be their brother, and that would add some more layers onto the story that were already just kind of hidden there. But there's one more thing that's in the game. It's very random, and it's in the actual full game, that it doesn't have to be data mined, and it only happens in certain instances. It didn't happen to me, but I actually saw it happen to some other people who played the game before I found out about this whole Gaster thing. It's a random phone call that you can receive in a certain area. It's in that top area of Snowdon past the library, or rather before the library, past the houses if you go up. Some people will randomly get a phone call there, and nobody has determined what triggers this or why it's random, but when you get the phone call and you pick it up, somebody on the other end says, "I would like to speak to G," and they stop there because they don't want to finish the sentence. They realize they have the wrong number, and they start singing the wrong number song, and they hang up. But they were going to say that they'd like to speak to somebody whose name starts with a G, and there are multiple characters like that in the full version of Undertale. But it's very possible that this could be talking about Gaster himself, a leftover hint that was left in the game. But why are there some things like this that are left in the game hinting towards this WD Gaster person if he was removed? What's the point? Well, there's the theory that Gaster could tie into possibly a future installment of Undertale. I don't know if Toby Fox plans on making a sequel. I don't know if that's been confirmed or not, but if he does make a sequel, it's possible that Gaster could tie into the plot somehow. Whatever the case, a lot of the stuff that's left over in the game, including the things that you can find out about Sans and the hidden stuff that you can find at their house, it all seems pretty intentional on Toby Fox's part. I believe that the whole story of Gaster is not done yet, and who knows, there could be more to find in the game. People are still data mining it this very second, but it's starting to run dry. But they found some interesting things. That sprite that they thought is Gaster, if you approach it, when you find it in the data mine files, it'll make a surprise noise and disappear. Almost as if you shouldn't be seeing it. There's some other things too, and I'll let you guys look it up. Some of it involves the gray NPCs that I briefly mentioned who talk more about Gaster's past. but, you know, I gave you the gist of it. You can go and look it up for yourself. Some of them look very odd. One of them looks like the monster kid that follows you around and geeks about Undying. Stuff like that. It's very interesting, but all in all, here's my take on it. I do believe that Gaster was Sans and Papyrus's brother, and I do believe that he will play a future role in Undertale in some way. Now, what way this is, I don't know. I don't even know if there's going to be a sequel. That would be awesome, but either way, I think he does play some importance that we just haven't seen yet. Or maybe it's going to stay hidden. Who knows? That would be cool in a way. It's my belief and theory that Gaster was doing horrible experiments. He is related to Sans and Papyrus, and they're good guys. But some of the stuff that you find in the True Lab seems to be related to Gaster, and one of the things that they data mined was a hidden entry from Gaster himself that apparently you could find in the True Lab. And since he was the former royal scientist, it makes sense that he would be doing horrible experiments down there. And there are some other theories about that too, which I could cover in later videos, but I do believe he was doing some kind of very horrible experiments that he possibly did not finish. And I don't think he's a good guy in any sense, but who knows, there could be more that we just haven't really dug into yet. But that's my belief, and I hope you guys found this interesting. It's always interesting to me when people data mine games and find hidden things like these. I really love it when stuff like that happens, and a lot of the times it can be intentional on the creator's part, but sometimes it's not. But let me know what you guys think of all of this in the comments. Tell me if you think it's all just a load of hooey or not, or if you believe in it. And give me your own theories about what could be going on, even if it's related to Gaster or not. All that good stuff. So, that's it for this video, guys. If you liked the video, then please like the video or go about your business. And if you like my kind of videos, video game theories, video games in general, Undertale, whatever, then please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate every view, subscriber, everything that you guys give me. It means a lot. And I'm almost to 1,000 subscribers now, which I'm really excited for. I might do something special for it. Just thank you guys so much for your support. I'll see you in the next video. I have some theories planned, possibly some Life is Strange. We'll see. But thanks for watching.